Yo guys, and welcome in today's video. In today's video we are going to have a look at some interesting charts. We will be having a look at the regular financial markets. We are going to have a look at Bitcoin in the longer term time frame and what we are basically seeing right now and how does that correspond or correlates with the 16-year cycle, a theory that I have been talking about already for quite some time. We are going to have a look at the more shorter term price action of Bitcoin, and until the end of this video I will share a little bit of some altcoin charts that we are basically watching. So guys, let's jump straight into it. And I want to start off with basically having a look at Bitcoin on the BLX chart, where we just have a look at the longer term time frame of Bitcoin. And so far, Bitcoin is actually doing exactly like we have been expecting from the year 2022. And what did we basically expect? We expected early acceleration into 2023. And eventually that acceleration should accelerate exponentially, going eventually into a vertical line. And right now it's starting to look like Bitcoin is in that vertical line. And this market is definitely different than previous markets. Why? Because Bitcoin actually already touched a new all-time high. We couldn't sustain it. We dropped back below it, but we did touch a new all-time high. This has never happened before in the history of Bitcoin cycles before the Bitcoin halving. And now you can make multiple things out of it. You can say, of course, but hey, what about a super cycle where we actually see right now very bullish price action? Halving will be even more bullish. Bitcoin can go to 2, 3, 4, 500,000 US dollars. I say to all of that, yes, it is possible, but if I'm thinking and looking at the most probable scenario, I still think the 16-year cycle is in play. Bitcoin can still go up pretty high from the levels that we are trading right now, especially when we break the all-time high. The previous all-time high at 17,000 US dollars decisively. We can see massive rallies, but I still think Bitcoin bull market top will be in this yellow line. And I got multiple reasons for that, but one of the two reasons from this specific chart. First of all, the analysis that I made about this was made in 2022. So far still holding. It's very strong when you make an analysis in the past that is so far unfolding. That is already a good point. Second point is this cycle right now, everyone can agree, looks already very different than previous cycles. The narrative of Bitcoin ETF and unlimited institutional money can also be pretty dangerous. But you can see it on my channel, guys. I made so many videos that I actually think that the halving this year will be a bearish event, and I'm going to stick to my thesis. Now, let's have a look at the regular financial markets. And this is the normal chart of the regular financial markets, right? We also just broke previous all-time highs. Pretty bullish, right? This is pretty good. I don't want to look at this chart. I want to divide the regular financial markets by the money supply. Then you can actually see the value of the regular financial markets in terms of purchasing power. And then you can also see that we actually break above levels we haven't broke since 2002, which means that for 22, 23 years, we're right now back into levels that are just very new for us. We haven't been trading in these levels in terms of purchasing power since 2002. Now, there are a couple of things to make from this. If I look at these cycles, then it actually looks like the top of the cycle should be in around the year 2018. That was the exact moment we should see roughly the top of the cycle. Of course, the price action can go higher. That is definitely possible. Can be also bullish. But the bottom of the next business cycle will be roughly in 2026. That aligns with the 4-year cycle low for Bitcoin in 2026. So I would argue that in 2026, we are going to see lower levels than that we are trading today in the regular financial markets, but also in Bitcoin. I'm expecting some major headwinds, and that's not only because of these cycles. That's also because we can have a look at the interest rates, and that is actually pretty interesting. So let me do central bank interest rates right here. Let me get rid of these indicators, and then when we go to the central bank interest rates, I just want to see the Federal Reserve, that is the red one, and all the others I'm going to remove. So it will be a little bit more clear what I'm trying to say right here. So what we are seeing right here is that the interest rates have seen such a rapid rising. And if we look at historical times, we actually did not really have a time where interest rates have been rising so strong in such a short amount of time. Here we do have some form of a somewhat of an example in the year 1977. Interest rates went up, but this is kind of crazy, guys, because previous times you can see interest rates go up right here. It goes a little bit stagnant. We have massive correction in the market. We have actually, this is for the regular financial markets, it is a big correction. We cannot check the percentages on this chart, but this is a massive correction. But with these interest rates, I'm expecting sooner or later even a further correction. So for example, right here we can also see interest rate increase, go a little bit sideways. The moment we see rate cuts, bam, we get a massive correction. Rate cut, right? Price goes up a little bit, but not much. And then we have interest rates increasing again, okay, going a little bit sideways until the first rate cut, bam, massive correction. This was the dot-com bubble crash. And as you can see, we went back to the levels of 1995. So we went basically 5 years back in time. We had 5 years going up right here. That was wiped out in 2 years. The gains of 5 years, kind of crazy. And then we had the credit crisis, also known as the housing market crisis, the fall of the Lehman Brothers going down. So, like I said, we don't really know what's going to happen, if we are going to see a similar event, if we are going to see a similar crisis. I think it's definitely possible. And I don't really believe that right now we are going to see it, we are in the super cycle, although right now we are still looking pretty bullish, right? So when we go to Bitcoin right here, let me go into some shorter term time frames. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame right here. Then we can also see that the price action right here on Bitcoin is also resembling that 60-year cycle early acceleration, and that acceleration should accelerate into vertical price action. Well, right now we are kind of doing vertical price action. It's kind of crazy that Bitcoin just dumped from 69,000 all the way down to 59,000 in a very short amount of time, and then bounces back up to 67,000. It's actually pretty crazy. On the weekly time frame, we can see it also pretty clearly. Let me get rid of the drawings right here. That, yeah, you can see that this market just goes up. There hasn't been a correction. So I'm going to expect, guys, this market is going to continue to go up until we have the top, because we are already in the parabolic phase. Right? I don't expect now a top, like a correction of 5 months, and then make another rally. I don't think that's the case, because the 60-year cycle looks like something is playing out right now. We see the characteristic: early acceleration, no correction whatsoever. Already have higher all-time, or like higher levels than we did in previous cycles before the halving. No one can disagree with me that this Bitcoin cycle, this price action, is looking different than the regular 4-year cycles. Right? So, yeah, that's just an important point I want to make. And therefore, I think that that we are just going to continue to go up. Of course, with these flushes we have seen also yesterday from 69 to 59, we are going to see this big flushes of leverage in the space. That is just part of the game. So be careful when you are trading with leverage, but I definitely think that this will continue until we have some form of a blow-off top. We reach certain extreme, and once we reach a certain extreme, can be the top, can be also the bull market top. Doesn't have to happen this week, can still happen in the next coming months, could still even happen at the end of this year, depending on how bullish Bitcoin is. But I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen this year, and I personally do think that Bitcoin is going to see a major top in the markets this year. But I can be wrong, so that's also important to note. I can be wrong about that too. Then let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is just very beautiful, guys. Look at this price action. It's just from a bear market. We have a little bit consolidation. Bam, we just blast in. Also, we are the vertical stage, almost at previous all-time high. I would expect Ethereum to go to 4K pretty soon. Then let's have a look at some altcoins, guys, that we have been looking at. First of all, Level token is a very small cap token. I actually think it's looking pretty nice because, like I said in previous video, we have somewhat of some bullish divergence right here. We have a falling wedge formation that right now is trying to break out to the upside. I would expect this chart to continue to go up, and which is very beautiful because this chart, in my opinion, has a lot of fundamentals, and that's also because decentralized exchanges are going to be more popular. Another decentralized exchange is DYDX. This is also especially on the weekly time frame, guys, this is a beautiful looking chart. We have been trading this over on Will Alerts. That's a VIP trading channel. If you want to join that, you can do so only by joining Bybit with the affiliate link down below. So if you've joined Bybit, you can submit your user ID and then you can join this Telegram as well. But we basically made an entry in DYDX right here the moment we broke out. That one is up right now roughly 40%, and we are entering the first zone of taking profits. But as you can imagine, guys, if we look at Ethereum and stuff that is already at previous all-time highs, this chart could go way higher. And this is also a decentralized exchange, and I think decentralized exchanges will do very good. So yeah, you could see this going to the target, but I could also see this breaking out, continue to go up, and just making beautiful price action. Then we can have a look at GMX. Is also a decentralized exchange. Well, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders. We haven't seen a breakout yet of the neckline, but I do expect this chart to break out sooner or later as well. And just go to the target right here, and that would be an increase of roughly 50% for this altcoin. Apex, guys, this is a token that we have been trading as well. This is a token that we have been mentioning over on the private Telegram channel, Will Alerts. And we basically entered this trade the moment we broke out. And this went just completely nuts, because the moment we broke out and we entered, we even re-entered at the support, we had a increase of over 700%. Right now, this altcoin is up over 1,000%. 1,000%. That is crazy. And you know what's the funny part? What is Apex? Apex is a decentralized exchange. That's what I'm saying. I think this decentralized exchange narrative is going to be important because we're seeing so much regulations. For example, in Holland right now, BitGet just stopped. Bybit is still offering their services in Holland, but they don't offer derivatives section from their website. So a lot of people will go to decentralized exchanges. So Apex is also a decentralized exchange that I'm using myself. Again, I have affiliate link down below to this exchange. I think it's a very good exchange. It feels similar as Bybit. Might have a little bit less liquidity, but it is a decentralized exchange, so you're not bound to any regulations. That's also the reason why I think this token is going up. We've seen the same thing with Uni. Uniswap is also a decentralized exchange on Ethereum, right? A swap exchange, also doing very good right here. SushiSwap also breaking out right here. Very beautiful. So like I said, like this decentralized exchange doing pretty good. Then we have some altcoins that we have been mentioning very, very early in the Will Alerts section. And that was Ori, also doing pretty good at previous all-time highs. Those are a little bit the AI tokens. FET, well, guys, you know what FET is doing. FET is already at new all-time highs. Ocean, also pretty good at previous all-time highs, roughly. RLC, coming up, seeing a nice breakout, not yet at previous all-time highs, but doing pretty good. Dogecoin, we have been trading here as well. Our entry was in this smaller, if we go to the 4-hour time frame. Our entry was the moment we broke out from this falling wedge formation. Here was the entry. Well, that one is doing phenomenally well. We have a increase of over 100%. I did trade this one with leverage as well. I didn't ride this up completely till the top. I took profits along the way, but definitely a very beautiful chart. What are some other charts where we could look at? Rose against US dollars? Well, also looking pretty good. Let's go to the weekly time frame for these altcoins. Then we can see, okay, we are halfway through the previous all-time high, so there's still some work to do right here. Sui is something we mentioned. Yeah, we did just make new all-time highs if you look at the body of the candle. Another token that I was looking at that I think is actually very interesting, although the chart might not look that interesting right here, is PT. That is the token of Phemex Exchange. Phemex Exchange, yeah, is a pretty nice exchange. And now is the first time they launch a token. And what we often see with these exchanges, because they have some buyback incentives and stuff like that, is that these exchange tokens in bull markets do pretty good, because exchanges in bull markets do pretty good as well, right? They earn a lot of fees, a lot of people are trading. So yeah, this is also something where I dip my toes in, and I've shared this also a little bit earlier on over on Will Alerts. So I could see this thing going up during this bull market, especially when we have an altcoin season. And then last but not least, guys, we have Ripple and we have XRP. I think this chart is looking pretty good as well, because we have this nice triangle formation. We're grinding up from the support, and yeah, right now we're still holding that support. So I would argue that this is going to be kind of a base where we eventually going to see a nice rally from. Maybe something like we have seen right here, like a nice rally, or something that we have seen right here. Like we also consolidate, kind of grinding up from the support, and then there comes one moment. That's really how XRP normally works. There comes one moment where in a very short amount of time, this thing just goes like blasting to the upside, and the setup right here I think actually looks pretty good. So I'm invested in this. We invested in this below 60 cents, so 50 something right here. You can see it if you go to the 4-hour time frame. We took this at the support, so that is yeah, that's pretty good. That is around 50 cents. So that one is also already up from our entry right here, roughly 22%. So guys, our trades are doing pretty good. Very happy with that. What to expect for Bitcoin? Like I say that with the summary, I think it looks likely, but I can be wrong. Very important to say that as well. We are in that 16-year cycle, which means that we will continue this vertical price action until we have a top with shakeouts along the way. That's definitely possible. It is still possible that we form a regular 4-year cycle. It is still possible. I just don't think it's likely. Maybe when Bitcoin tops right now and we get a correction of multi-months, that might increase that possibility, but we don't see that yet right now. I also think when Bitcoin does see a top, or when Bitcoin will move a little bit sideways or will consolidate a little bit, lots of money will flow into altcoins. So Bitcoin is already not super late in its rally on this bull market, but we definitely, for my feeling, definitely already like around halfway from the bull market, right? And it's always the last part of the bull market where altcoins are going to do pretty well, the moment Bitcoin breaks all-time high. So that is important to note. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Bitcoin. I'm pretty bullish on altcoins, but also I'm gonna have a disclaimer. I do think that when we have a look at interest rates, when we have a look at the regular financial markets, when we have a look at the 16-year cycle, I don't know how long the party will last. So I think it's also important when you have some altcoins or when you have some things that really take off, for example, like an Apex, like we have seen like earlier, like this just goes up 1000%. You have an entry that just has a 1000% profit, or you have, for example, with Audi, we also entered Audi right here at the levels of 3 to 4 US dollar. Right now it's roughly at 80 US dollar. I would definitely say this is nice to take profits and secure those profits for the longer term time frame. Because you got to think like this as well. If a recession comes later this year, which could last several years, and this market is going to have a severe damage from time being, from having a long-term bear market, which we have never seen before, you at least have some bags to the side which you can use, basically. Doesn't mean you have to get completely out of the markets, but if you have these specific situations which things just went up to moon, and like you have 1000% profit, why shouldn't you take some profits, put it on the side, and maybe put it on the side for the longer term time frame? That's my 5 cents, but everyone got to make their own decisions. Guys, if you want to join Will Alerts, you can do so by joining Bybit with the affiliate link down below. I have worked for quite a bit on a special course for Will Portal Pro and Will Portal Strategies. That course will most likely be dropped this week. And I can tell you already right now, I would recommend every single one of you to watch that tutorial, because I'm going with you through the tutorial, and it might even take almost 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours. But the tutorial goes from the beginning till the end and explains exactly, and from my perspective, how the markets work, how you can determine, how you can see what's going on, what's really going on in the markets, what's really going on in the background of the markets, how can you make certain predictions for directions and calculate certain probabilities, what is the mistake most traders are making, and how can we get insights in those mistakes and tackle those mistakes so you will not make them, and which will increase your profitability. Guys, I think it's a very, very good and valuable free course that will be published later this week. So by this I already announced it, and I would recommend every single one of you to have a look at that. Okay guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section down below. Later today I will have a look and try to answer them as good as I can. I wish every single one of you a beautiful day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.